My name is Bert, and this is the Still Life Podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Still Life Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bert. So, still dealing with allergies, and I think a little bit of a cold I got over the weekend. Throat's still a little bit sore. Obviously, I don't sound quite myself, but I wasn't going to not do an episode today. Because all the congestion and, runny nose and coughing and all that fun stuff, sore throat, I haven't hardly slept that much in the last 3 days. I think maybe 6 to 7 hours of sleep total combined over the last 72 hours. So I am tired. But unfortunately, that's not the only reason why I'm tired. I'm tired of this whole job hunt thing. It's stressful. Obviously I'm trying to find a job. I've got bills to pay, and unfortunately, I can't hit the pause button on those. They just keep coming in, and, I've got to have income to be able to afford everything in my life. So, it's gotten stressful. I've gotten a little overwhelmed, and it's just frustrating. I've applied for so many jobs, and I either get completely ghosted or, I'm told I'm overqualified, underqualified, whatever the case may be. And I'm just tired of it. I know I possess a lot of skills, talents, and abilities, and I could bring a lot of value to a lot of different companies, but nobody's willing to take a chance on me, and that's frustrating. I mean, sure, I don't have a 4-year college degree. I didn't go the traditional route, and I may be paying for that now, but at the same time, I don't regret not going that way because it just wasn't for me. Unfortunately, also, having a back injury and having had back surgery recently, trying to avoid another back surgery, it takes me out of contention for a lot of jobs that have a lot of physical aspects to them because obviously I don't want to have another back surgery. And not only that, I have 3 kids, 2 of which are under the age of 5, and I plan on being a very active participant in their lives. So, I'm trying to preserve my body so I can be an active parent with my children. Now, the crazy thing is that there are a ton of jobs out there, but a lot of them pay $15 or less an hour, which for somebody with 3 kids that's a single parent, that's just not feasible. I can't survive off of that at all. I mean, I can't even pay for or afford the basic necessities. Housing, clothing, food, utilities, transportation, and these other things. And so, as I am looking at jobs, the opportunities that I can afford to apply to or apply for become fewer and fewer. I mean, looking at my resume, I have a wealth of skills and knowledge and talents that I can bring to the table. 8 years in the military, managing over $20 million in assets, and at one time, over 50 subordinates. In addition to that, I have more leadership experience in team leader management roles. I have customer service experience, sales experience, marketing experience, and the list goes on and on. However, one of my own downfalls, being a creative person, I don't like being put into a box. I am a very broad thinker. I'm very creative. I have a lot of ideas. I like to improve things, and I like to solve problems. The issue with that is that once I feel like I've done as much as I can do and I'm not presented with new challenges, new opportunities for growth, I stagnate, I get bored, and I find something else to do and somewhere else to go. And unfortunately, for a lot of employers, that doesn't sit well because I've bounced around from job to job or industry to industry. Now, granted, I've spent most of the last decade in the same industry aside from a couple breaks. However, I'm in a position where it looks like I'm probably going to have to find a job outside of the alcohol industry, which is fine. I don't have an issue with that. But, being 39 years old, looking for a new career in a new industry, it feels almost impossible to find a place to fit in. Now, if I had the resources, I would just start my own business and do whatever I wanted to do. However, I don't have that ability. So until I either have that ability or I can find the right place for me, I have to find something. And even that's gotten incredibly challenging because, again, I can't afford to work making $10, $12, or even $15 an hour and pay my bills. That's just not feasible. But there's so many companies out there that want to hire people for just that, $10, $12, $15 an hour, and they're wondering why nobody wants to take any of these jobs or why they're not getting quality applicants. You have to pay for quality. If you're not willing to pay for quality, you can't expect quality people to want to be a part of your organization if they can't afford to live. And the other thing that blows my mind is you see all these companies boasting record profits and paying out record bonuses to their top executives, yet they're still not willing to put money back where it belongs, and that's hiring good talent in some of those lower level or mid-level positions. And I mean, yeah, let's be honest, people are greedy. People want money. They want to spend money. They want exorbitant things. They want to take vacations. They want nice cars, nice houses, nice boats, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, you have to realize that a company without a CEO will still function. A company without the rest of the employees or actual workforce will cease to exist. So where do you think you should spend the most money? Perhaps on the people that actually make the business run day in and day out and make the company profitable. But how do we change that? The thing is you've got to have either, executive boards or CEOs that not only say they care about their employees, but actually take initiative to show that they care about their employees. And I saw an example of this the other day, looking at Walmart. Walmart is a massive corporation, yet they have more employees on government assistance programs than almost any other corporation in the United States. How mind-blowing is that? They employ so many people and boast these massive profits, and the people at the top are raking in money hand over fist, yet the people that actually work in the stores are having to rely on public assistance for their basic needs. That's a problem. And the crazier thing is, it shouldn't be a government problem. The government should be putting ownership of that back on to these corporations and these businesses. Now, don't get me wrong. If there's one thing the government needs less of, it's control over everything that we do. However, in this instance, not saying that the government needs to control it, but they need to say, look, here's the deal. You have all these employees that are on public assistance. And because of that, to compensate for that, we're going to tax your business at a higher rate to compensate for that. Or you can choose to better compensate your employees so they're not having to use government public assistance to take care of their basic human needs. But again, how do you get a large corporation like that to actually care about the people at the bottom and not just say that they care about the people on the bottom? The people that are doing the grunt work, that are making that business run day in and day out. I mean, those people, most of them probably can't afford to go on strike, and not even probably they can't afford to go on strike. Let's be real here. Because they'd all end up getting fired, losing their jobs, and the company's just going to hire a bunch more new people, and it's a cyclical thing. There are so many studies out there that show when you invest in your workforce, you give them the things that they need, you don't overwork them, you pay them well, and you treat them well, not only do they stick around longer, but your business becomes more efficient and more profitable. And I just don't understand why so many businesses, so many corporations ignore those studies. I mean, we live in this world where we aren't even treated like people. We're treated like a number, an employee number, a payroll number, whatever the case is, a revenue point or a performance metric. We're not treated like humans. And once we start treating people like humans again, like actual people that matter, we'll see this dynamic shift. And everything will start to improve. Quality of life for everyone across the board from the bottom to the top. Lower and median income levels will start to increase. The economy will improve. I mean, stimulus checks are great and all, but when businesses that are making the most money are paying their employees more, you don't need stimulus checks. because people will actually have more expendable income and they will put that right back into local, state, and even national economies. I mean, look, I'm not a financial guru and I'm by no means an economic whiz, but those seem like no-brainers to me. And with that, I'd like to thank you for joining me on another episode of the Still Life Podcast. As always, for questions, comments, topic ideas, suggestions, or to become a sponsor of the Still Life Podcast, you can reach us, thestilllifepodcast@gmail.com. That's thestilllifepodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again for joining me today on the Still Life Podcast. We'll talk again soon.